Oh, let me see. Oh, here we go. Here we go. We're back live once again for our Saturday morning get-together. Let me just check on a couple of things. I'm going to turn this over here, and yeah, we're doing good. I have a new camera that I'm using. I'm using the Lumix S5 Mark II X because I'm going to sell my GH5 and my GH4. Can't get that much for them, but they're just sitting around and not doing much. And I don't use my Lumix S5 Mark II X very often. So I got a $3,500 lens and camera sitting up there as a webcam. I don't use them that much anymore. Just sometimes. I'm going to keep the Lumix S5 Mark II X, but right now it's also my webcam. So I use the GH5, GH4 for years, and GH5 for the last year or so. I'm just going to do this. So did you hear the music on this live stream? I'm having a little bit of problem with my switch over to my M5 Max MacBook Pro. Last time I was playing audio in the studio, but you said you couldn't hear it in this live stream. Could you hear it this time? Could everybody hear the music this time or not? I will be curious. Let me see. This way, Ecamm Live Main. There we go. There we go. Yes, double for a bit, because I kept switching things on and off. I have two different, the music comes through a sound effects panel, and last time I was playing it came through there, so I just presumed it's going on the live stream. But some of you said there's no music this time. So now I turned on all system audio, which was doubling the music sometimes. But anyway, good morning from Quebec, Canada. Hopefully our friend Daniel, that was you're out of the fires that you're having, out of that zone, because the video I've seen is pretty terrible. That was you. Of course it was you. Well, because I'm glad you let me know, because it's registering at my end, but it wasn't going out on the stream. I'm not sure if somehow there's some setting that I'm doing. This is interesting. I have my iPhone. I don't know if I can show it to you. I guess I can't show it to you. But my iPhone, I have it hooked up to the Lumix S5 Mark II X camera, and it's showing me all kinds of things. I can set the ISO with it. I can set the white balance. I can set the f-stop. So, good morning. Absolutely, just joined. So did you enjoy the Michael Cioni interview? We went on last Wednesday, almost 2 hours. We just blabbing away. Of course, when Michael talks, you just let him talk. I mean, that's the main thing, which is what I did. I got a clip or two from that I'll play in a little bit, in case you missed it. Well, it's on the YouTube channel. You don't have to miss it. It's right there. So we're in the middle of July. We got our update for Final Cut Pro at the end of June, 12.3, a nice, solid update. Still no motion VFX integration that's obvious, unless one of those things that happened in 12.3 are motion VFX, but there's nothing obvious. There's no templates and stuff that are obviously there. So what else is going on? We have fires up in Canada, which are horrible. It's unusual, but we're actually getting smoke from the fires in Canada down here in Maryland. We had our worst air quality alert yesterday for years. It's like on purple. Red is bad, purple's even worse. So they told everybody to stay inside in air conditioning. So hopefully those of our friends that are in Canada are surviving that, keeping safe, et cetera, et cetera. So what do you think? Who's using Final Cut Pro 12.3 and liking it? I am. So far, everything's doing well. Everything's doing well. Let's see. Oh, there we are. Let's see this for a second. This is the Final Cut TV cat room. I got that camera working again. It wasn't working for a couple of weeks. I'm not sure why. Oh, only Lucy is there. Miss Amanda Jones got up and left. So they have their own futon in the front window. They watch the sunrise. They like sitting in the sun. They watch the squirrels. Occasionally there's another cat that walks by the window. They enjoy that a lot. So 12.3 I think was a big success for Apple. I'm sure there's still bugs. There's always bugs. People say, oh, it's got bugs. Yeah, well, there's always bugs. Every piece of software has bugs. So the fact that there's some bugs, we'll report them and hopefully we'll get them fixed. There's weird things that happen with all software. So 12.3 is a big success. We still have to wait for, premium content in Final Cut Pro for the subscription model. Strata is installed, and for $8 a month, I join and support its solution, so it is a good subscription thanks to Michael and the Strata Top Gun. Absolutely. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. That Strata, I joined Strata, this is 2.0. I joined their live stream where they were letting editors log into their hard drive, their RAID, through their computer. So I logged in, and I opened up their FCP XML file, and the next thing you know, I have a timeline. Filled with clips that are on the opposite coast. They're on the West Coast. And I can play the timeline, but the clips are not on my hard drive. They're on another hard drive, Michael's hard drive on the West Coast. And I can play the clips. These are proxy clips. But I could play the clips. I can play the timeline. There was no relinking. I didn't have to relink. I just opened the FCP XML, in Final Cut Pro, file, import FCP XML. The Strata hard drive appeared in the Strata interface. It's like a big Finder window. It had all my hard drives listed, and underneath of them was Strata hard drive. So I clicked on that, opened up the FCP XML, and the next thing you know, I'm playing clips that are in the other side of the United States, 3,000 miles away from me, and I'm playing them. And I didn't download them, did not download them. I'm playing them from the hard drive, Michael's hard drive, Strata's hard drive on the West Coast. Pretty darn amazing. Pretty darn amazing. You can download them too, but that's not what this is. I mean, you can do that. You can download them, but you can play instantly from somebody's hard drive that adds you to the list of editors that can access it. So it's pretty cool. Good morning from Montreal, Gary. I hope you're safe from the fires up there. My primary client wants to record from 3 cameras simultaneously for editing later. I'm suggesting using OBS to record one 4K stream composed of 3 HD cameras, later cropped in Final Cut Pro. Any suggestions for alternative? Ecamm, which is what I use. So 3 cameras simultaneously for editing later. So I use Ecamm, and when I have a guest, I can have up to 10 guests, and they each got their own camera. And Ecamm not only will broadcast the live switching of those cameras, it also records independent versions. Every camera has its own audio and video file. Ecamm does all this. You have to switch it on, of course. And there's another one. Riverside, I think, is a more high-end version of that. Now, do you mean for live streaming? Is that what you're talking about? Recording 3 cameras for live streaming? Otherwise, you just record 3 cameras and edit it. Just take the files and edit them. So, to recording, yeah, my Ecamm, I record just for recording. You don't need any software for that. You just record the individual files and bring them into Final Cut, right? I'm not quite clear. Wants to record from 3 cameras simultaneously for editing later. Will you just record the 3 cameras, take their files, and put them into a multicam? Yeah, multicam. You do simple editing. Why buy a Max chip? I don't do such simple editing. I do multicam editing, 4K. I do 8K now with my new. And I always buy the high end. I buy high end. I buy my high end iPhone. This is Pro Max. You have no idea. You say I do simple editing. You have no idea what kind of editing I do. I do very, very complex editing. Multicam editing, music videos. I do all kinds of stuff, 4K, 8K. So, and I decide what kind of Mac I get. I don't have to worry about anybody else telling me what kind of Mac to get. I get the kind that I want. So I got an M5 Max. I'm not sure why you would make a comment like that. Watched your video with interview with Michael. I like your style of interviewing, as you do the same as Rick Beato when interviewing a musician. You and he are letting people finish their answers. Well, when Michael comes on, people want to hear Michael. I mean, I do. And he talks, and he has a lot of good things to say. I got a couple clips later that we'll talk about. Strata is also working on even library locking to bypass the need to extra apps like PostLab. Yeah, it does. It's different than PostLab and the other ones. It's different. So let me go over there and check on something. Oh, you're talking about using cameras that don't record internally, built-in webcams and a couple iPhones once all recordings on the laptop. Well, the iPhones record internally. The iPhones record internally. So I see what you're saying. You don't want to. They don't want to record internally. Well, I'd recommend Ecamm. Once again, it records every individual camera independent, whether you're going live or not. You can well, is that true? Can you add other people? I think you'd have to go live to add people. I'm not sure. I've never done that before. I've never done that before. So I've never recorded cameras without going live. But like the other day with Michael Cioni and me, both of our cameras were recording separate files, video files and separate audio files. And it was recording the entire mix of both of us on screen. It was recording both of those. And I'm like I said, I'm using my Lumix S5 Mark IIX as my webcam now, which is phenomenal. So, for example, this has audio. This has autofocus. So now it's focused on me. I can see because I got my iPhone hooked in and it's showing me the focus point. But if I wanted to put something in front of this, there we go. So if I wanted to focus on this lens cover, you can see I'm now not in focus and the lens cover is in focus. And then when I pull it away, it goes back to focusing on me. I'd never used autofocus before with the webcam. So it's pretty interesting. I can turn that off and focus manual. You can bring people in through the interview mode or Zoom and just record all feeds in Ecamm. Okay, so you don't need to be live because I record tutorials with Ecamm, and the reason is because I don't like using teleprompters because you can see people reading. You can see their eyes moving, reading the lines. I'd rather just talk right to the camera. And since I'm so used to doing this on Saturdays, I'm talking to you right now, looking at you directly. This is how I do my tutorials too. I just talk to the camera and use that. Like I said, I don't care how good you are. If you're reading, you can tell. You can tell by your cadence. You can tell that your eyes are moving along a line, reading text. So I don't like using teleprompters, even though I have those. Strata will work fine without PostLab if you have the discipline to talk to each editor. So no editors try to work on the event and modify at the same time. For my workflow, Strata is perfect. My next camera will be a full frame. I'm considering a Sony a7 IV, absolutely. I considered Sony's when I bought my Panasonic Lumix S5 Mark IIX. They didn't update the Sonys at that point because I had to buy all new lenses because I was going from a GH4, GH5, which are micro four thirds lenses, to a full frame L-mount lens. When I have a whole series of those, I'm going to be selling most of those. I'm going to keep this one, which is it's a Sigma? No, Rokinon. I'll do this again. Rokinon zoom lens, 35 to 140 maybe, something like that. I really like it, f2 to 2.8, and I really like it because when I have prime lenses, I have a 35, 50, 85, and a 20-something, and they're all fast lenses, but I hate switching lenses when I'm filming. In a studio is fine. I like a variable zoom, so I got this one, and it's doing great. He wants to record one person at 3 angles simultaneously and switch in post. Gotcha. Well, once again, I'd recommend Ecamm Live, but I've been using it for years. Ecamm. It's not Ecamm Live anymore. It's just Ecamm for that exact reason. It's not just for live. Let me adjust my desk down a little bit. The camera's sitting on the desk so I can go up and down with the desk. Thank you, Michael and Richard, to inform Final Cut Pro users about this workflow. It was badly needed to collaborate without a cloud. It's peer-to-peer. It's pretty amazing what they've done, what Michael and the team have done. I've worked with several news reporters, anchors over the years, and teleprompters are a skill to be learned, not a Band-Aid to fix poor delivery. They're all not that easy to use right off the bat. And yes, I understand. You're absolutely correct, Ben. Some people can use them very effectively. When I was at the National Archives, we used to have the National Archives. The main people that would be on camera a lot of times use teleprompters. Well, one of the things is I made the text very narrow and very large letters. So they're not reading like this across the screen. So their eyes aren't going way wide. I kept the text narrow file and, kept it moving appropriately. And I can do it somewhat, but I can still see myself reading rather than talking. I'd rather be talking. I'd rather be talking to the people I'm doing something with. So if you watch any of my tutorials, Final Cut Pro or about the iPhones or about, I have videos about lawn equipment, my leaf blower, my snow blowers. People love those videos. They got 10 and 15, 20,000 views on my YouTube channel. They really like them. So I talked to the camera without a teleprompter. I found that I write better than I speak until I get better at speaking on camera. I got an Elgato teleprompter. I have that one too. That's probably the best one. Absolutely, it's probably the best one. But even if I haven't used a teleprompter for a long time, it's sitting downstairs in the box. If I used a teleprompter, like for a long speech, I would still not read every single line of text. I would look at the text, grab the information, and just talk to the camera. Because I don't care how good you are, I can tell if you're reading a teleprompter. I can always tell if you're reading a teleprompter. If your eyes are going back and forth, your eyes should not be going back and forth. They should be looking directly at the people you're talking to. So I can see your eyes moving back and forth. I can tell you're reading. Now, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I prefer just talking to the audience, talking to the people by looking into the camera, like I do every Saturday. So I'm not even saying not write a script, because I will write a script for longer video tutorials, but I'll still talk to the camera. And if I forget, then I'll look away for a second, pick up the next piece of information, and then look back into the camera and just recite it. Now, that is, I'd make a cut, obviously, in the editing, because I don't mind small jump cuts. Some people use them for just speaking points instead of word for word. Exactly. That's what I do. I don't mind having notes. And like I was talking to Michael Cioni when he spoke at the last Final Cut Pro Creative Summit in 2024. He talked for 90 minutes to a live audience on stage and just had his notes on his phone. And he would once in a while look down at his notes and glance at his notes and just continuously spoke to the live audience. As a matter of fact, I have that up here. Let me pull that up here real quick. This is a video of Michael over the years when I met him. Let me pull my cam link up. Double click to choose a camera source. Well, let's choose a camera source. Hold on a second. So this is Michael at, the first couple are at, this is 2016, 2017. NAB, he said, do I have Stockholm Syndrome from Apple?
Do I have Stockholm Syndrome with Apple?
But then Apple takes it to the second ingredient. What's the second ingredient? It's control. Since we cannot control all the different aspect ratios that are going to be out in the world, we simply have to limit the amount of cropping as little as possible. Okay. There it is. That's it. He's the guy. Right there. Now the mobile space is on fire. And I see people walking around using iPhones as part of their kits. And that's part of their kit. Sometimes it is the kit, right? And for other people, it's an accessory to the kit. That's what Richard's doing right now. It's part of the whole system. It's so powerful and simple. I admire he's got a monopod, he's got dual record audio. I mean, this is it. It's the one-man band is not actually lo-fi anymore. It's amazing.
So that was Michael at the last Final Cut Pro Creator Summit. He spoke for 90 minutes in front of the crowd, completely just talking the whole time, looked at notes on his iPhone every once in a while. Our friend iEdit Projects. Good morning, Mr. Taylor and the Final Cut Pro community. Absolutely. Absolutely. Look, let's see who's over here. Now, Lucy's over there. Our little Lucy. Over there in the front cat room. Miss Amanda Jones went somewhere. So, yeah, we were talking about Michael Cioni. He was on the show Wednesday. Really good. Almost 2 hours. I kept him for almost 2 hours. I kept him right up to his next appointment. So we'll have him back on again. We have some other people lined up as well. There's our friend from Twitch, Kilobyte 808. Good morning. How are you doing? Absolutely. Our friend Roz, Inspire Video. Good morning. Absolutely. You got a thumbs up. We appreciate the good old thumbs up. Encourages us to do more. So I don't expect any more Final Cut Pro news. Fantastic Saturday. It is indeed. It is indeed. I don't expect, well, put it this way. I have feelers out to see what's going on with the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. Haven't heard anything yet, one way or the other, but I want to know if it's been canceled or if it's going to be happening in the fall. If it's going to happen in the fall, probably November. That's typically the month that they have it in the fall. So I have some feelers out to see if I can get some information and if I can, what I can share with anybody. We'll have to see how that goes. But other than that, I don't expect any more Final Cut Pro news over the summer. I'd be very surprised. It's too soon. I mean, like I said all last spring, 6 months between Final Cut Pro feature updates is the norm. This was like 5 months, 5 to 6 months between feature updates. So we certainly could get a bug fix update at any time. At any time. Absolutely. Have you been enjoying the new camera? Do you mean my live streaming camera? It's doing a phenomenal job. It's been doing a phenomenal job. This is my Lumix S5 Mark II X that I switched out from my GH5. Yes. Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's got, I'm using autofocus for the first time on a live stream. So there's my Rokinon lens cover that's now in focus. And then when I pull it away, it refocuses on me. I've never had that in the live streaming camera. But like I said, this camera and lens is about $3,500 between the two. So it should look good, right? It should be phenomenal. But anyway, I have a GH4, a GH5. I didn't get the GH6 or GH7 or any of that. I waited because I wanted to switch to a full frame camera. So I switched to the Lumix S5 Mark II X. Phenomenal camera for the price point. It's $1,000 cheaper than the Sony version. I would have considered the Sony when I bought this, but the Sony was already 2 or 3 years old, the one I was looking at. So I didn't want to pay full price for a camera that's that old. Absolutely. I have the A74 with a 16 millimeter Sigma. Absolutely. So I have 4 primes that go with this, the L mount. I have a 24 millimeter, 50, 85, a 20 to 60, which is obviously a variable, and this one, which is the Sigma 35 to, I forget what it is, 35 to 100 and something, or 200, but it's a great lens, f2.0 to 2.8. So the maximum f-stop is 2.8. The A7S III is amazing, absolutely. Yeah, I'm very, very pleased. You know, here's the thing. I use, when I'm out filming, like I'm going to go out filming probably Monday morning, I take 2 iPhones, iPhone 17 Pro Max, iPhone 16 Pro Max, and I take my DJI Action 5 camera. Sometimes I'll wear it over here just to film a wide shot, or I'll use it on the tripod. And now I take my Insta360 Luma Ultra, which I love that camera. Sticking in my pocket, I got a camera on a gimbal that shoots up to 8K. Shoots 10-bit iLog up to 8K. I don't take my Lumix with me. It just sits. I don't use it. Only time I'll use it is a studio setup, studio setting, if I'm doing a multicam with bands, or if I'm doing a very, very important sit-down interview or something, then I'll take my Lumix. Other than that, I don't take it, so it just sits there. I said, why not use it every Saturday? We're using it every Saturday from now on. We're going to take care of this. So I love it when people tell me what kind of equipment I should have, what kind of MacBook Pro I should buy. I know what I need. I'm a professional. I was the post supervisor down at the National Archives for years and years and years. I don't need somebody to tell me what kind of a MacBook Pro I should buy or what kind of a Mac I should buy. That's just ridiculous. Bless me. I'm not sure why I need blessing, but thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to just drag this up here. I had some people, somebody. Oh, okay. He said, Kilobyte 808 said he heard a sneeze. That must have been my girlfriend in the background. She must have sneezed. I didn't even catch that. It's amazing that you caught it. It's amazing that you caught it. So, but I remember when I got the 2019 Mac Pro, I got a mid-level one. I did not get the high-end one. I spent some money on it. I remember somebody would say, "Oh, why are you getting that? You don't need that. You don't know what I need. You have no idea what I need. Zero idea what I need." So don't tell me what kind of, you can make a suggestion. Why don't you try this or why don't you try that? But don't tell me I don't need something. Don't tell me I don't need an M5 Max MacBook Pro. You have no idea. Were you the post-production supervisor at the National Archives in Washington, D.C.? I was. 8.5 years. I know what I need. So I'm not interested in comments like that. So, absolutely. I love my M5 Max MacBook Pro. So here's what I'm doing. I'm keeping my M4 Mac Mini Pro. I'm keeping it. I'm going to sell my M1 Max MacBook Pro. I don't need 2 MacBook Pros for sure. I'm selling that one. I'm going to sell that one for whatever the going rate is, a little bit under. I'll sell it locally. And I'm keeping my M5 Max MacBook Pro. It's phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal for everything that I'm doing. It's great for Final Cut Pro. It's great for Pixelmator Pro. It's great for just doing everything else that I'm doing. So I'm very, very exceptionally pleased with it. I'm also pleased that I got it for the old price. It was like the day they raised the price $800 for this model, I got it for the old price the next day because on the Apple Store on Amazon, they had it available. So when I saw that, I said, this is the old price. It didn't go up $800. I just went and grabbed it. I'm really glad I did because I was looking for the Mac M5 Mac Studio. It never came out. A hybrid full-frame camera is just as much for commercial quality still images as it is for video. Otherwise, your phone and Insta360 sound perfect for video. No, it is. I mean, I absolutely realize that my Lumix S5 Mark II X is the superior camera, the most superior camera I have. First off, it's really good in low light because it has, with fast lenses, it does a great job. It has 6K open gate. And it exports raw video. The HDMI port exports raw video. So if I have a ProRes RAW recorder, I could use that. If I have a Blackmagic RAW recorder, I could use that. But it exports raw video as well via HDMI. It's a superior camera. I don't use it that much. If I have band concerts here at the studio every once in a while outside. Didn't do it last year. I did it for the years before that, especially during COVID when the bands weren't playing. And I'd set up 3 cameras. The Lumix camera would be the main camera, and then I'd have 2 iPhones and maybe a GoPro for second and third cutaway video. So, but now, when I go out, I take 2 iPhones, and I take my Insta360 Luna Ultra, which shoots up to 8K. Those are the 3 main cameras, and then my DJI Action 5 camera, which I really like. I didn't get the Action 6. I kept the Action 5 because it does a great job. So I don't need my Lumix. I don't need it for most applications, but I'm not selling it. I'm keeping it. But I figured rather than let it sit on the shelf, let's put it to use every Saturday. So that's my main camera now. I'm going to sell my GH5. For me, looks like an M7 Ultra will be my next upgrade. I, too, will be getting a Mac Studio. Probably not this year since I just bought the MacBook Pro. I'll get it next year because the MacBook Pro, it does a dual purpose. Number one, I can take it with me if we have a Final Cut Pro Creative Summit, and if we have, what else? Well, I'm probably going to NAB next year. I missed 2 years. I'm probably going to go next year. So I missed not being there. So if we have a Creative Summit in November this year, I'll have it for that, for live streaming for everybody. If I don't, I'll go to NAB and I'll have it for that. So I have something that I can stream live when I'm portable. But this is also my desktop computer. It's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal machine. It's gorgeous, beautiful. It's powerful. It's twice as powerful as my Mac Mini. It has twice as many cores and stuff. So I really, really enjoy it. Have you run benchmarks on the two MacBook Pros, wondering how much better the M5 is? It's a lot better, but I don't really do benchmarks. That's for other people to be doing. I'm sure there's some out there. The only thing, I only got the 2 terabyte SSD. I don't get the 4 terabytes. They're just too expensive, especially now. But my M1 Max MacBook Pro has a 4 terabyte. Everything else, the Mac Mini and the MacBook Pro both have 2 terabytes. The Mac Mini has 64 gigabytes of RAM. My M5 Max MacBook Pro has 48 because they didn't have 64 available on the Apple Store on Amazon when I got this. So let me just see. So I have 4 screens up. I have a 34-inch LG ultra-wide monitor, which is my main monitor. I have a side monitor over this way that is running my M4 Max Mac Mini. I just have my email up on that one. So that's what the M4 is running. And the MacBook Pro is right below me for a second main screen. And then I also have my iPhone, my 16 Pro Max over here plugged into my Lumix S5 Mark IIX. That's showing me the main screen with the controls. I have ISO controls, white balance, exposure compensation, f-stop, and I'm at a 180-degree shutter angle. And it shows me the little screen on the Lumix S5, but it's much bigger. I can see it. I can see it's focusing on my eyes and the area of focus and stuff. So it's pretty interesting. But mainly my main focus is you, everybody out there. So here's what I think for the rest of 2026. First off, I probably will be getting it. I won't be getting, I don't anticipate getting a Mac Studio this year. I don't need it with this M5 Max MacBook Pro. I kind of needed a MacBook Pro anyway to keep up. This will be fine. This will be the only MacBook Pro that I get for the next 3, 4, 5 years. And I only need it for when I'm streaming live on the road. NAB, and if they have a Creative Summit, Final Cut Pro Creative Summit in November, I need to be able to stream live from the hotel room. And this is what I use, my MacBook Pro. So I take it with me. And I take my iPad Pro as a second screen, so I have 2 screens for the hotel room. I'm still enjoying my Mac Studio M1 Ultra. I'm mad. Those are beautiful machines. Given the price increases, my next Mac Studio will probably be a Max chip if they are still offering them in a year or so. Yes, that's very, very true. So I don't need the Mac. I need the Max. I don't need the Ultra. I don't need that. The Max is running fine. This MacBook Pro is phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. Final Cut Pro, Pixelmator Pro, Ecamm Live. It runs great. It's a phenomenal machine. I'm glad I got it. I wasn't going to pay the full price. I wasn't going to pay the $850 or whatever it was after the price increase. I wouldn't have done that. That was up to $4,999. That's what it was. I got this for $4,149. So $850 more. It went up overnight. I would not have got it for that, but I did buy it for the old price. I would have gotten the M5, the Mac Studio M5, but it's not out. And I didn't want to keep on waiting because the prices keep going up, and up. So I said, I'm going to grab the MacBook Pro, the M5 Max MacBook Pro at the old prices, and I'll be fine for a year or two. Richard shared an article with me, Apple AI chip investment, that was pretty amazing. The M7 sounds like it will ship with some chip AI owned by Apple. Yeah, that was an interesting article. Absolutely. I bought 3 Crucial X9, the DJI Mic 2, and the Insta360 Flow based on your recommendations at the time of purchase, only regretting not waiting a little bit with the gimbal, getting version 2 instead. I had the original version, the one I told, and then I got the version 2, which is really, really good, and I always sell that version. So where is my X9? The reason I got the X9 over the X10, let me show you. This is incredible. The reason I got the X9, the Crucial X9 over the X10, because I did speed tests with the X9 over the 10, and the X9 was doing a better job with iPhones. So let me show you the autofocus again. This is the Lumix S5 Mark IIX autofocusing on what's in front, and I am all blurry in the background. This is the X9s. I got 2 of these, 4 terabytes each. 4 terabytes each. I got them a couple years ago, so I can edit off these with my Mac, and they work fine. They're SSDs. They're true SSDs, but this is 4 terabytes, 2 of these. And I got an OWC 5, Thunderbolt 5, 4 terabytes, so I have fine. I am doing fine. This, like I said, this M5 Max MacBook Pro will hold me over for another year or so. I don't need another desktop now, so I don't even need it 2 years from now, probably. This will be fine for a couple years. And I will get I'm looking for a Mac Studio, but since they didn't come out with the M5, that's what I was waiting on. And I'm really glad I didn't. I'm glad I got the MacBook Pro. Love it. I have money. When I sold my 2019 Mac Pro, when I sold my 2019 Mac Pro, I got about half what I paid for it, but I kept that money in an envelope for a new Mac. Well, that's going for this MacBook Pro, M5 Max MacBook Pro, and I'm going to sell my old M1 Max MacBook Pro for another $1,000 or $1,200 or $1,500, whatever I can get for it, and that'll pay for the new M5 Max MacBook Pro. And then I'll be fine for this year. I'm not going to buy any other Mac this year. I will be getting the new the iPhone 18 Pro Max, whatever the version is, that has the best video. That comes out in September, most likely. I will be getting that. Get a Blackmagic ATM Mini ISO for what? What do I need that for? I do have an ATM Mini, but he doesn't want to do live switching, only post. There you go. You're talking about the other person who wants to do the multi-camera. Let's see if, yeah, Lucy's still out there. She's sleeping on the cat futon. Miss Amanda Jones was just in here, and good old Lucy, she's doing okay. At this point, she had some problems. She had to have surgery last year, and they told us at that point that there probably is going to be future problems with her. So we'll enjoy her while we have her, as we always do with our pets. I'm keeping my email open in case I get any emails while I'm talking to you. The interesting thing is that I really like so normally I run my MacBook Pro with 3 screens, But I don't really need 3 screens. I got this giant LG and I got the MacBook Pro down there. And so I leave the M4 hooked up to the other monitor, and I can check email and stuff without interfering with my MacBook Pro processes. But the amazing thing is I can go back and forth with my mouse and my keyboard from one to the other seamlessly. I just go across the screen and I'm on the M4. I come back, I'm on my M5 Max. So what else do we have? Oh, we got, did I play everything for you? Oh, we got one more. Let me go up here and play this. Another Michael Cioni video. Let's do this. This is from the interview we just did. You're still on Final Cut after all these years. I mean, you were a champion of Final Cut as long as I remember you.
I was in college when Final Cut 1 came out, and I was being taught Avid. And when I found Final Cut 1, it changed my life. And so I became loyal through the 7 versions of the original Final Cut, including the switch from OS 9 to OS 10, which was pretty rocky, but all that time worked. And then when Final Cut 10 came out, I could see the path. I know the tech wasn't there, and I certainly have my gripes with Apple's marketing approach with Final Cut 10. They certainly failed at that, and I think they know it. They know it.
Indeed, they do. They definitely know that they botched the launch of Final Cut Pro 10. June the 21st, 2011. I think that's when it was. My next camera will either be the 18 Pro Max, the Insta360 Luna Ultra, or the DJI 4P, most likely the Insta, especially if it adds the ability to see if your picture is over. Yes, absolutely. It needs to add that. I think it will. And it also doesn't, it shoots a 10-bit log, but you can't apply a LUT. This is the Insta360 Ultra Luna Ultra. Yet, I'm sure that's coming. You'll be able to apply a LUT so you can expose properly. But it's just, you know what? I have that's the first camera I grab now, unless it's not with me, because it fits in my pocket. I wear a jacket because I have pocket here, I have a pocket here, I have a pocket here, I have a pocket here, I have pocket. I have 6 pockets on my jeans jacket. And that's why I wear jackets for pockets, so I can I'll keep my Luna Ultra here, so it's ready to grab, pulled out, boom, and I got a gimbal camera that shoots up to 8K and iLog. So I really like the form factor. The screen is tiny compared to my giant screen of my iPhone 17 Pro Max. I just really like the fact that it has a gimbal, and it does a great job. It has 2 lenses, and they're both fast lenses. It's just a great little camera. I thought it was interesting that Michael thought Apple should apologize for the Final Cut Pro rollout. That just fixing a problem wasn't enough. Sometimes you need to apologize. But didn't they apologize for the trash can Mac? I thought Apple apologized for that, or said, no, they apologized. They said they made a mistake. They said they made a mistake with that Mac. They publicly said that. I remember them saying that because it had it throttled thermally, so whatever it had because of the size. I thought they admitted that. So for Final Cut Pro, did they formally come out and apologize? I don't, they know it was a mistake. They know it was a mistake. They knew it was brought out by a complete fiasco. Everybody knew it. Even us fans of Final Cut knew that was a mistake, the way that was brought out. Here's what they should have done. Everybody's got their opinion. They should have not stopped selling Final Cut Pro 7 the day that Final Cut Pro 10 came out. That was the biggest blunder of anybody. That was really, really dumb. What they should have done was say the same day they launched Final Cut Pro 10, here's our new version of Final Cut Pro 10.0. Here is Final Cut Pro Classic 7.1, a free update for everybody that has Final Cut Pro 7. That's what they should have done. Then they should have said, we're going to stop selling Final Cut Pro 7.1 in 6 months. So you have 6 months to get your ducks in a row. In the meantime, here's the new version of Final Cut Pro 10.0. That's what they should have done, and everything would have been a lot better. But they didn't do that. You know darn well, so Final Cut Pro Classic went up to 7.0.3. You know darn well they had something beyond that for 7 that they could have given us. Probably 7.1. Probably. Probably. By some chance, have you used the iPhone for long exposure photography? I have not. I have an ND filter for a moment. I want to capture some waterfalls when I travel. Any app recommendations? The Blackmagic camera app. It's phenomenal application, and it's free. And they update it all the time. That's what I would recommend for something like that. That's what I'd recommend. I'm sure there's some videos on YouTube that'll show you how the best settings using ND filters and stuff. Your jean jacket pockets are like a cameraman's broadcast vest, very much functional and practical. Absolutely. Absolutely. Even if I wear a regular suit jacket, it's got one pocket here, it's got a pocket here, it's got 2 side pockets, it's got a pocket here. So even when I wear a suit jacket, which I wear a lot, I got 5 other pockets, but this one has like 6 pockets, and these pockets are big. This is a big pocket in here. So when I travel on an airline, sometimes my underseat bag, personal carry-on bag is a little too puffy. It might not quite fit, or they'll say, hey, that's a little too big. So I take stuff out of it, put it here, put it here, put it here, put it here, and I just go through, get my bag under the seat, and I take them out later. Roz, look at this. What the heck's going on there? Why did my camera go out? Hold on a second. Live video. Why did my camera go out? USB video. All right. Well, I just lost my video, I guess, because let me plug and unplug my. Oh, yeah, I know what it is. I bet you the battery's dead. Yep. Hold on a second. I gotta switch batteries. I'll be right with you. We'll put the cats on it for that you watch them instead. I got a power supply coming for this mix, but I'm using batteries right now, so I got a battery. Let me switch it out. Just take me a second. Take the camera off. And take the battery out. You can watch Lucy in the meantime. I'm sure that's what it was. I wasn't paying attention. Put battery in. Close the door, turn the camera back on, and we will be in business. Yes. Let's see if it's back yet. Hold on 1 second. That's not coming back. Why isn't it coming back? Oh, that's why. Here we go. There we go. So that was weird. Let me go up here. There we go. So the battery ran out of the Lumix. I don't have, when I have my GH5, I have a plug-in power, but I have two of these, so plug this one in over here. I have to pay attention to the battery. Let me see, connect with Lumix, cancel. External USB monitor, connect with Lumix. Well, that's not working. Let me just get that going here just to monitor stuff. Connect with, why isn't it connecting? Hold on a second. Let me get this working. Plug this in here. Lumix Flow. There we go. Connect with Lumix. Come on now. Here we go. Now we're back in action. And let me see. Yeah, the battery's fully charged. So we are good to go. New battery. I have a battery indicator on my iPhone. I can't quite see it on the Lumix slot, turnaround monitor. It's too small. That's why I got the iPhone down here for. So we got plenty of battery left. Plus I got another one charging up. What I like about the Insta360 Luna Ultra is, which is not really talked about all that, the comparisons I've seen, is the fact that the weight is roughly the same as an iPhone 17 Pro Max, but with a built-in gimbal. There's two things. It has 8K video, iLog, and it's built-in gimbal. It has a detachable wireless remote microphone that you have. And it has a bunch of other things. Night mode is incredible. They call it pure video. It's absolutely incredible. It does a much better job in low light conditions than the iPhone does. Not much better, but definitely better. They dedicate some AI chips to the pure video mode, the dark video. Does much better job. So, the iPhone I have with me all the time. Okay, I have it constantly with me. 24/7. The other one I have to specifically take it, but when I go out, I just like the form factor. I like it a lot. I never got the original DJI Action 1, 2, or 3. I mean the Pocket Cams 1, 2, or 3. I just didn't like it. Don't even go to any custom board in any country; they will become crazy. I hear. To alarm ring like, wow, with your pocket jackets. Oh, you're right. No, I don't have any problem going through the customs. In the U.S. it's TSA. That's not a problem. They don't care how big your bags are. They don't care. So I put all the stuff in the bags when I go through TSA. It doesn't make a difference. They open it up once in a while. They open it up. Usually they don't. I have pre-check. I've already registered for that for years. But when you get on the airplane, the roll bag I have, my main bag, which is for my clothes, and I keep a lot of camera equipment in there. The under seat bag is the one I have to. It's got to fit under the seat, and if it looks too big, they will pull you aside and say you got to check that bag, and then you got to check it. So That's what I don't like. I used the text scenes this week to re-edit a video I didn't originally create. Then I isolated the voice in Logic Pro and added my own music. Such an amazing workflow. Richard, how is the quality of the Pro mic compared to the Hollyland Lark mic? I'm considering the Creator Bundle for Luna Ultra where the mic is included among other things. I would, if you're going to use a Luna Ultra as your main, one of your main cameras, definitely get the Insta360 Mic Pro. Now you see here when I did the battery change, I have to do this. I move the camera a little bit. So I'll put it back there now. If you're going to use, you don't absolutely need it. Okay, I have the Hollyland Lark Max 2-pack, 2 mics, and I bought 2 Insta360 Pro mics because I intend to use the Insta360 Luna Ultra all the time. So those mics, once you hook them up to the Insta360 Luna Ultra, they hook up automatically. Every time you turn them on and the Insta360 Luna's on, they're automatically hooked up. The quality is superb on the Insta360 Mic Pros. It's really good. There's a lot of options. The range, here's the other thing. The Insta360 Mic Pro range to the Insta360 Luna Ultra, I went 150 feet, maybe 175 away as a distance test, clear, completely clear audio, no problem connecting. And that's without a receiver. You don't need a receiver to do that. Okay? So if you're going to use the Insta360 Luna Ultra, I would recommend absolutely getting a Insta360 Mic Pro. I have 2. I bought 2, but I bought them on sale at Amazon for $85 each instead of $99. So I saved $30 on 2. I didn't get the pack with it because I didn't want the black mist filter, whatever. So anyway, do you need it? If you're going to use the Luna Ultra, yes, I would recommend getting it. It's great, it connects great, the quality is superb. It has a lot more features than any other mic system because it's got 3 separate microphones. It's got 1 at the top and 2 on the sides. And it does some interesting things with AI, noise reduction, and polar patterns and stuff that the other mics don't have. And the distance is incredible. It just connects, and it's very clear without a receiver. You do not need a receiver for it. Now, the Hollyland Lark Max 2, which has been my staple for years, has that tiny little receiver. The iPhone receiver, USB receiver, not the big one. I don't like the big one. It has that tiny one. That you can plug that back in the back of the Insta360 Luna Ultra, and that will connect the Hollyland Lark Max 2 mics. It also works with DJI. If you have that tiny little DJI iPhone receiver, you can plug that in the back of the Luna Ultra as well, and that also will connect the DJI microphones. So, our friend Roz Inspired Video says he has to run. Thank you very much, Roz, for tuning in. Looks like the Insta360 lens have the Leica label. To get that label is a big deal, so the glass probably pretty good for a camera in that class. And it's not just the glass, it's the whole color workflow. It's a Leica color workflow. Not the glass is one thing, absolutely, but it's the Leica worked with Insta360 for the whole color pipeline. The footage looks great. So I record 8K a lot with the Luna Ultra. And there's a couple of reasons. Number one is I have I bought a 512 gigabyte micro SD card, a Lexar, very, very fast one. It was on sale for, the 512 was on sale for $104 at one point. So I bought one of those. It works great in the Luna Ultra. With that 512 gigabyte card, I get 8.5 hours of 8K video. 8.5 hours of 8K video on that 512 card. So I don't have to worry about not having enough space to record 8K. Number two is Final Cut Pro handles it fine. Final Cut Pro doesn't even hiccup with 8K log footage from the Luna Ultra. Now, I'm not doing multicam. I'm not doing 5 layers of that, but just the one layer doesn't even, it's fine. It handles it fine. I got the LUT from Insta360 and apply it inside of Final Cut. Look, the footage looks phenomenal. But like I said, it's the Leica, it's a Leica pipeline, color pipeline, it's a Lenses Plus for this. So it's really cool. So what do you think they're going to do? Our friend Alista from Jamaica. Hello from Jamaica. What do you think they're going to do with the iPhone 18 Pro Max? They're supposed to have that fold phone coming out. Look, I really don't care about a fold phone unless there's a lot better video on it. I only care about the video when I get a new phone. I only care about the video. If the video is a lot better on the new phone, I'm probably going to get it. This year, I'll keep my iPhone 17 Pro Max, and I'll trade in my iPhone 16 Pro Max, or I just sell it outright. I'll sell it to somebody locally. I'll have to see one or the other. So I presume I'll get the 18 Pro Max. It's got to have better video. I don't care about anything else. I don't care about messaging. I don't care about photography. I only care about better video. So we'll see. 2 months, August, September. So hopefully in 2 months we'll know what the new iPhone 18 Pro Max is. Hopefully we're going to know about the Final Cut Pro Creator Summit. Yes, no, November 2026 or not, or just, we're not going to do it anymore. I don't think that's the case. I'd be very disappointed if they did that. So let's do this a little bit. There we go. Very, very cool. That's what we have to look forward to the rest of 2026. I mean, regardless of the summit, I expect Final Cut Pro 13 to come out in 2026, and we're going to see at that point premium features, probably the motion VFX stuff. Probably. I heard the 18 Pro Max will have a variable aperture. That would be incredible on a phone, wouldn't it? I heard that too. I heard the Insta360 Luna Ultra log color grade like Sony S-Log 3. I've heard that as well. I'm very impressed with the Insta360 Luna Ultra. I shoot in 8K a lot of the times. If I'm just shooting straight ahead log footage, just because I have a storage space for it. It looks, shooting an 8K log, once you get into the Final Cut and apply the LUT, I think it looks better than shooting 4K with log. I think it looks better, even if I'm outputting in 4K. I never output in 8K. 4K at the most, so I put the 8K in a 4K timeline. It looks better. I don't know whatever, it looks better. So Going to trade my 15 Pro Max for the 18 Pro Max when it comes out. As long as the video's improved from the 17, I'll probably get that as well. Get that as well. That'll be September, 2 months. We'll get that. Hopefully, we'll hear about the summit. Thank you. Hopefully, we'll hear about the summit in August, or if I get any information that I can share between now and August, end of August, I'll share what I can. Obviously, if they say don't say anything, they'll let me know, but they don't say anything. Would you consider posting for download some Luna 8K native files? Some of us play with that? Absolutely. I absolutely will. I'll shoot some specifically, keep them fairly short, and I will upload them to my iCloud, and I'll invite people. If you want to, I have some now, but I want to shoot them again because I know the camera better. So I'll shoot some maybe tomorrow, and then I'll upload, 3 or 4 or 5 30-second 8K clips. Absolutely. And then you can get the LUT. I'll put the link for the LUT on. You just go to Insta360 and go Luna Ultra LUT download, and you go right to the page and you download that inside of Final Cut. Clayton, if I forget to do it, just shoot me a message to remind me, but I'll plan on doing that. I'll plan on doing that tomorrow. I'll shoot some tomorrow, specifically for the audience, since there's been a request for it. Absolutely. I'll go down to the farmer's market tomorrow in Sykesville. They have as long as it's not raining, and I'll shoot some 8K footage, and we'll upload them tomorrow, and I'll put the link on my Facebook group. And if you message me, I'll give you the link direct. For a moment, I was unable to comment. Was receiving error. Try again. When you add the 8K to a 4K timeline, can you zoom in parts of the image and still keep the 4K resolution? Absolutely. On the part you're zooming in on, providing you're not zooming in too much. So what you do is, instead of fit in the inspector, put none on the 8K footage. I think you can select them all in the browser and choose that. Instead of fit, choose none. And then the 8K footage will be full 8K resolution. When you drop it into a 4K timeline, you go to the inspector, and I think you reduce the overall, the overall video down to, I think, 53%, and that fills up. I use a different. I don't use a 4K timeline. I use a 2:1 4K timeline. So it's a 2:1 aspect ratio rather than 19:6. So when I do that, I do the none, not fit, but none in the inspector. So it leaves it to full 8K. Bring it down to the timeline, and I reduce the size to, I think, 53%. I think 53%, and that fills up the entire 4K timeline. So yes, just remember to do none. That's the way I do it. Clayton says he will. I don't have Facebook. That's fine. I do have you on Instagram. Very good. Scale. That's it. Scale. So you scale it down from 100%, because if you leave it at 100%, it's way big. It's way big. And I scale, because I do a 2:1 aspect ratio. I don't do the 19:6 normally. I do a 4K 2:1. A little bit wider than 19:6, 6:9, 19:6, 16:9. Scale, that's it. Raphael Ludwig created an audio plugin called Power Ducking. Seems to be closest thing to an audio-based, roles-based mixer without using a hack like Splice Kit. This one's 100% supported. I still want the audio. Yeah, 8K, yeah, 8K to 4K, 50%, except, like I said, I don't do a 16:9 aspect ratio. I do a 2:1. So when I do a 2:1, it's 53% for me. 53%. Fills up the frame, but is, you know, yeah, that's what I do. 53, it's like 53. I don't know why 53, but it turns out 53. So I shoot almost everything. Even when I do 4K, I shoot a 2:1 aspect ratio. I like it better. I like it better. On YouTube, a lot of my videos are 2:1. Facebook will reserve that 2:1 aspect ratio. And for some reason, it's 53%. I mean, I know why, because it's wider than just normal 4K aspect ratio. As a matter of fact, let me get you those dimensions because I have them over here. Let me pull this up. Okay, so a normal full 4K is 3840 by 2160. 3840 by 2160. My 4K is 4320 by 2160, so it's double the 2160. So that makes it a 2:1 aspect ratio rather than a 16:9 aspect ratio. When I do that, the scale, if I scale at 53%, it fills up the frame. Fills up the frame. That's why it's not 50%, it's 53%. I even do that with I even do that with 4K. I do a 2:1 aspect ratio now. So as long as you stay between 50 and 100, you're good. 53% for 2:1 in a 16:9 frame. Well, it's 53% for 2:1 in a 2:1 frame, not a 16:9 frame. So the timeline is 2:1. Timeline is 4320 by 2160, and it works well. Anyway, you scaled 53 and it fits. I just kept on bringing it down till I saw there wasn't any edges anywhere, and it came to 53. I don't know why 54. Well, I don't know why it's not 54, why it's not 52, but at 53 seems to work. And you can also go up from that. Yes, you can go between 52, and even then, you can still go beyond 100% if you wanted to. Even with 4K footage, you can go beyond 100%. You can push it beyond 100%. You can go 110, 115, 120. It looks great. So you have a lot of leeway with the 8K footage. But the 8K footage, to me, looks better than just the standard 4K footage with the Luna Ultra, even though it's scaled down. So it looks, if it's log, I shoot in log almost all the time. It looks washed out. You put that LUT on it, it just looks gorgeous. It looks, the standard Insta360 LUT looks gorgeous for iLog. And it's 10-bit. It is HEVC, H.265, but it is 10-bit. So it's 420 color space, not 422 like ProRes is. But I'm very impressed with it. Very impressed. Watching my battery on my monitor. I got plenty of battery left. Plus, I'm charging a new one, and I have a new AC power that I'll be plugging in next week. AC power for next week. So that's pretty cool. So I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased with the Lumix. The Lumix S5 Mark IIX as my webcam with the big honking, what lens is it? Rokinon lens. 35, it's a 35 to 100 and, what is it, 35, I forget, let me go look it up, to 100 and something. Let me see if that's what it is. Oh, there it is. Rokinon AF autofocus. Yes, I'll verify that I'm human. 35 to 150, f2 to 2.8. Full frame lens. Oh, that's for Sony, but I got the L mount. So it's 35 to 150, f2 to 2.8. So the highest f-stop is 2.8 through that entire range. The lower end, like we're at right now, I'm at f2.2 because if I go to, here, let me go to f2. Let me go to f2. The background gets too blurry. So there it is at f2.0. The background is a little too blurry, so I bump it up to 2.2. And even, yeah, that looks better. I could probably go even more than that. 2.5. So I'm doing that on my phone. I like 2.0. I mean 2.2. I like 2.2. It seems to be pretty good compromise. So the background's a little bit blurry, but this is the Rokinon lens. It's an autofocus lens. I do like it as your webcam. I love it. I never had autofocus before, and when Lumix came in with they used to do phase detect autofocus. Wasn't a big fan of that. You could get it to work, but it wasn't as good. Now they have phase detect. They used to have something else before. Now they have phase detect, and it works pretty well. I think Sony's probably a little better, but this is really, really good for Lumix. When you're using 2-to-1 aspect ratio, will you not be losing a little bit of the top and the bottom? Yes. Yes. With the sensor Taylor for 6x9, not much, but still, yes. A little bit at the top, little bit at the bottom, but I fill it out. The screen is filled, but yeah, I have a little bit of option. I can pull it up or down, just a little bit. But I just like the 2-to-1 aspect ratio better. I just like it better than 16:9 since I can do it. Yes. I can go to a 16, just a regular standard 4K frame, but I like the 2-to-1 better. So you're absolutely correct. It'll cut a little bit at the top, a little bit at the bottom, or you can push it up and down. You want it to a little bit. Just go in Final Cut Pro Preferences and take off the black background. Put it either white or put it as the checkerboard, and then you can see around the frame what's going on. So I widen it out so it hits the left and right side, and then it's a little bit off the top and the bottom. That's absolutely correct. Got a lot of people watching today, as usual. I'm planning on being here every Saturday, as long as, I mean, I told Michael Cioni, I said, look, when there's a new version of Final Cut Pro that comes out, you can always expect a dozen people to come out with tutorials that cover the exact same 5 features. So you just pick the ones that you like. I mean, I like Ripple Training usually. They do a good deep dive. And there's a couple of other ones that I like for different reasons, but they're all covering, all the dozen of people that come out with them all at once are covering the exact same 5 features. Exactly the same. So I usually go to Ripple Training. I think they're some of the best. They do a nice deep dive. There's 1 or 2 other ones that I like as well. I like all of them. I'm glad they all do it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they're all covering the exact same 5 features. So you don't have to watch each one. Watch 1 or 2, whatever you like. I got my email open on my M4 Max Pro, M4 Max Mini, just to see if anything comes in. I have an email. I got some feelers out about some stuff. We'll see. But anyway, when the new version of Final Cut Pro comes out, a big one, we've been here for 3 years, every week, regardless of what Final Cut Pro is doing. So regardless of what Final Cut Pro is doing, when there's nothing going on for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, we're still here talking about Final Cut. But some people just wait for a big update to Final Cut. Oh, I'm going to go out there and do something now. But where you been for the last 2 or 3 years? We've been here every week. We've been here every week. It's easy to do Final Cut Pro videos and YouTube and stuff when there's a big update. It's very easy. What's hard is to do it when it's not a big update. Week after week, month after month, year after year, when there's no update. That's what we do. We're here all the time. I enjoy coming here and talking to everybody, as you well know, since I'm here every week. And since you're here every week, to all of you. And we have some other special guests coming up. We got to get Denver Riddle on here. He came on and was very, very, very cool a couple weeks ago. And I've talked to him over the years. So we're going to get him on here too to talk about his new stuff. The color thing product that he has. We'll get him on here to talk about that probably during the week, maybe a Saturday. If he wants to come on Saturday, that's fine. We'll get some other people back on here too. I just, yeah, and we're also, Final Cut Pro Radio, as far as I know, is the only Final Cut Pro dedicated podcast on Apple Podcasts. It's the only one, as far as I know. It's been the only one for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. So we're going to update Final Cut Pro Radio. Final Cut Pro Radio, obviously, is an audio-only podcast. Audio-only podcast. Now, people have started for like the last year or so, they consider YouTube videos podcasts, okay? They're not really podcasts, but since people think of them as podcasts, I always distinguish and say YouTube podcasts, so people know. So that's what people have been saying. So I'm not interested in saying, oh, you can't do that. I mean, it's not a real podcast, but if you call it a podcast, that's fine. Richard, do you find in the last year Final Cut Pro received faster updates in the future look much better than not so long ago? Not in the last year, no. The last 6 months, since they started the subscription. 12 came out on January 28th. We got 12.3 on June the 28th, something like that. So the last 6 months, we got some good features, solid features in both of those updates. But before that, it was November of 2024. We got Final Cut Pro 11 and a couple of small features. So since the subscription, I'd say the first 6 months, yes, we got some good solid feature updates. I'm working on a YouTube idea. May decide to do it all using Final Cut Pro. I'll message you with details. That'd be fantastic. I get a lot of people on this podcast, broadcast, and other places contact me offline, and I help them, or we discuss things if I have the time. What I like about these live streams is I learn a lot about how I can use Final Cut Pro in its current version and what it's worth while buying an extension to my setup. Absolutely. We try to be informative. A lot of times the listeners will chime in with tips and things. I mean, having Michael Cioni on talking about Strata 2.0 is very cool. We almost talked for 2 hours. So very, very cool. I mean, there could be a bug fix for Final Cut Pro. I expect a bug fix for Final Cut Pro 12.3 between now and when Final Cut Pro 13 comes out later this year. I expect a bug fix to take care of any bugs that were introduced in 12.3. What will it be called? Probably 12.4. because they did 12.2, which was 2 or 3 little teeny bugs. They went from 12.0, January the 28th, to 12.2. They skipped 12.1, went right to 12.2 in April the 8th or 9th, and had 2 little teeny bug fixes. They went .2 numbers with little teeny bug fixes. And they went from 12.2 to 12.3 with major features. So who in the heck knows? Who in the heck knows? We do want to give a round of applause because the Final Cut Pro Apps team does watch these live streams, and we do appreciate you very, very much. Very much. So keep working on 13 and get us to Creative Summit in November. The Creative Summit has been in October once, but the other times it's always been in November. Do you anticipate a new Strata Michael presentation when a big update comes out? Sure, absolutely. That's his baby. Anytime there's a big update, I do expect that. I'm still on 11. Was disappointed recently that retiming a clip doesn't retime the magnetic mask. Yeah, I'm not sure. You have to redo it again. You have to do a new magnetic mask for the retimed portion, I guess. Is that what you're saying? Let me turn this off. Let's see what's going on. Oh, let's go over here. There we go. Looking for Lucy. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's... I guess they just can't do it. I guess they just cannot do it. So, at least not yet. At least not yet. So that's what I have. The Rokinon autofocus 35 to 150 f2 to 2.8. It's a great lens. And it is autofocus, and it is obviously variable. So this is a 35 millimeter right now. That's as wide as I can get it. As wide as I can get it. How old is Lucy? Lucy is, I don't know. I don't know. 9, 10, 11? Something like that. I have to redo the whole mask, not just reanalyze. So I'm just curious why you didn't retime it before you applied the mask. That's. I mean, I would presume. Yeah, that would be nice if it could just hold on to the mask, but for retiming. Well, the other thing is you could export the video clip without the retiming, export it as a ProRes file without retiming. So the mask is applied, and then bring it back into Final Cut and retime that clip. And then the mask would be there. I would do that if it's a pain for you. That would work. So, in Maryland, don't eat lettuce. Don't eat lettuce. Don't go outside because there's smoke. But definitely don't eat lettuce. That's the worst. I'm sure you've read the news about lettuce. Yeah, burning in the mask before retiming, right. That's what I would do if that's an issue. Export it. You know, I wish in Logic Pro, you can make a selection of audio files and bounce in place. And what that does, it takes whatever effects and stuff, edits you've done to that video file and puts it right in place in the timeline with the effects and everything burnt, edits burnt right into that file. I wish Final Cut Pro had that ability. So I could, in your case, I could take a clip, maybe it's processor intensive, and I could bounce it right in place. So Final Cut Pro replaces the clip on the timeline with the new version with all the effects burnt in. And you don't have to worry about rendering or being processor intensive that way. I'd like to see that. As a matter of fact, it's on my top 100 list. Rain a lot here now. This afternoon, storm is predicted. We've had typical summertime storms here on the East Coast outside of Baltimore and Washington. We've had a couple of storms. Usually in the afternoons they come, but sometimes they come overnight. You can hear them. I can hear the rain on the roof, pattering on the roof. So. It's been hot a couple of days. It's gotten up in the upper 90s. It's 81 right now. That's all it is outside, which is nice. It's overcast. There's not a lot of sun coming down. But it's cool inside the house. We keep it at 69 degrees Fahrenheit for the summer. So, what else is going on? Anything else? I checked the groups. Wasn't much happening. Let me see what he says. So, I asked a question in the eCam community because the last time you couldn't hear the audio, even though it was registering here the last week. So I asked a question. They said, don't do that. Don't do what I thought you had to do. The rumors are the Sony FX5 is going to be announced Wednesday. That would be very exciting, very exciting. People really like their Sony cameras. When I switched from the GH5 to a new system, I had to buy new lenses for the Lumix S5 Mark IIX. And at that time, I said, well, I could switch to Sony. Sony cameras are the same kind, or $100,000 more for the body. Lenses are, they have a bigger, wider variety of lenses. But when I bought this, the Sony cameras were like a year and a half to 2 years old. And I'm not paying full price for technology that's a year and a half, 2 years old. I just refuse to do it. Just like when I got my M5 Max MacBook Pro, I didn't want to buy an M4 Mac Studio because that's a year and a half old. That technology is a year and a half old. I'm not paying top dollar for technology that's a year and a half old. I just refuse to do that. That's why I got the M5 Max MacBook Pro, because it just came out in February. It's new, M5 Max. So, what else is happening? I don't know. There's supposed to be firmwares for the Lumix, for the Insta360 Luna Ultra. They should make shorter names for some of these products. They get to be tongue twisters. Are you aware about the terms that have been revised for Backblaze Cloud Plan? Not sure if it's true, but just in case, look at it. I have not, And if they stop being what I need, I'll cancel my subscription. That's all. I won't, if they don't do what I want them, what I need them to do, I'll cancel. The issue requiring the retiming was the episode was 3 minutes long. Unfortunately, it required one-time retime to fit, which was too noticeable, and the masking was done before the episode had run long. Gotcha. I bought a 100 to 400 lens. I can't wait to use it for a couple of things I got coming up. So when you buy a camera, especially a full-frame camera, even with the GH5 and GH4, I have about half a dozen lenses for those cameras. I have 5 or 6 lenses for my Lumix S5 Mark IIX. I'm going to sell the 50 and the 85. I'm going to sell the 50 and the 85 prime lenses. I don't need them. I got this. This covers that range easy. And I'm going to sell some of my, I can get more for my GH4, GH5 lenses than I can for the cameras. The GH5's going for about $500. The GH4 for half of that, about $250. I went on eBay and priced things. So I might keep the GH4, $250. I mean, why not? And I'll probably sell the GH5 for $500 or whatever I can get for it. And I'll sell a bunch of lenses I have. But lenses are more than the camera body, unless you just get 1 or 2. I usually get 5 to 6, but I don't need that many. I don't use that camera anymore. I do not use that camera anymore. So if nothing else happens during the week, I mean, I expect a bug fix for 12.3 sometime over the summer. We'll do a video for that bug fix when it comes out, but it's not going to be as exciting as a feature update. Now, it could be a feature update comes out. That could happen, but it's unlikely. Probably Final Cut Pro 13. It's probably Final Cut Pro 13, and I keep saying this, it's probably in November. If there is a Creative Summit, it'll be in November probably. If there's no Creative Summit, Final Cut Pro 13 could come out November, December with the motion VFX stuff. If the cloud servers and plans start to go crazy, I will cancel them too. I was to revise them now and think about making Strata my secure way to own everything. Episode now will air a month late, waiting on a reshoot of the host segments between the story segments. I love it when they give you, after you're done editing, you say, oh, can you do this? And it's you really can't. Especially, oh, can you put this music in instead? No, I cut it to some other music. I'm not going to put any other music in here. So, August is usually a very, very slow month. Final Cut Pro, post, cameras, updates, stuff like that. I'm waiting on a firmware update for the Insta360 Luna Ultra to let us preview a LUT on screen. And there's a few other things I'd like to see people are talking about. I think it's going to be able to stream live. I think that's going to happen, is be able to stream live with the Luna Ultra. That'd be pretty cool. So I could use that to stream live. Right now, I could just upload the videos from the Luna Ultra to my iPhone, edit them on my iPhone in with LumaFusion, and then spit them out from there to YouTube or whatever. So I have primes and zoom lenses. I use my zoom lenses for fast recap events. I use my primes for more like documentary style video. Right. I don't do any studio shooting right now, and I don't anticipate doing it. So I'm going to keep, I have a 24, I think a 24 prime. I'm going to keep that one because my Rokinon only goes to 35. So I'll keep my 24, which is, I think f1.8. I'll keep that. Sell my 50 and 85. Sell those two. Sell a bunch of my lenses for my GH5 and GH4, which are micro four thirds. And I'll keep three, and I have a 20 to 60 for my Lumix S5 Mark IIX. 20 to 60, I use that for outdoors. If I'm going outdoors, I'm not taking this big monster of a lens. I'll take the 20 to 60 and that'll cover everything I need. So that's fine. But I don't do any studio. If I was doing studio stuff, I'd keep my primes. I would just, but I'm out in the field more than that, and I don't want to be bringing a bunch of primes with me and switching them in and out. I just use the 35 to 150. It covers mostly what I need. F2.0 to 2.8. Your running gun kit, put aside, what is your studio kit made of in brief? Well, this is my studio kit right here, my Lumix X5 Mark IIX with the 35 to 150 millimeter f2.0 to 2.8 lens, and I have a 24 millimeter f1.8 prime, and that's all I really need for me. Recut this to faster performance to stay under 3 minutes for a short. When it's cut to the back, I'm using cues, not changing the music. Absolutely. Tell me what you want before I get done editing, please. Tell me everything, music that you want, if you want a 3-minute version, 4-minute version, so I can do it without going back after I'm done. Because I usually allow, when I price it, and I say, well, you can have 2 or 3 edits. After 2 or 3 edits, it's $75 an hour for me to go back in and re-edit. No, when you do an outside shooting, what is your kit? iPhones, Insta360 Luna Ultra, and my DJI Action 5. 2 iPhones, Luna Ultra, and DJI Action 5 for a wide shot. That's my outdoor kit, my run and gun kit. If I go to the Creative Summit, that's what I'll be having. I'm not taking. Last time in 2024, I took my Lumix X5 Mark IIX with a big lens. No, I'm not doing that this time. No reason to. No reason to. Unfortunately, these edits are months or years later. Yep. Studio style kit like your band shooting mic cam lighting. Studio style kit for you. The band shooting, I'll take my Lumix S5 Mark IIX because that'll be stationary. I'm not running and gunning. And I'll take multiple cameras and different angles. I'll give my girlfriend a camera. She goes up close to the stage and shoots different angles for me a lot of times. At least I still have the original projects, although some are in Final Cut Pro 7. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm going to have the rest of my weekend's going to be good. We're in air conditioning. We're doing good there. And during the week, I don't expect to be back on this week. Take a little break from stuff. We'll have to see if there is any lasers. Oh, I got this a long time ago. Somebody said I should get laser noises with the laser thing, so I got them. And we got, of course, fireworks for 4th of July that we had. 250 years of the United States. So we're young compared to Europe, which is 2,000 years old. So you have a camera woman helper with you? I usually do. Yeah, she always goes with me. We've been together for a long time. She knows the kind of stuff that I like. She does a really good job giving me B-roll and stuff. So, and she can shoot with the phone, or I give her a small camera to shoot with, and she'll go up to the stage if it's a band situation, which I'm back usually by the mixing board, so I can get good sound, good angles. And she'll go up on stage and get different angles and stuff that I can shoot, B-cam wise. And she goes with me on everything I do, pretty much. Pretty much. We've been together for quite a while. All right. I think that's going to be it for today. Unless you have anything else you want to say, thank you for tuning in as usual. You're the best. Each and every one of you, you're all the best. Don't forget, subscribe, thumbs up, notification bells. And that is at youtube.com at Richard Taylor TV. And if you want to buy me a coffee, you can do that. Buymeacoffee.com, Richard Taylor. Now, I'll be saving Buy Me a Coffees up for if there's a creative summit to take care of coffee, bagels, cheeseburgers, French fries, all the incidentals. We already got Eric Emmerich gave us a $50 super chat on YouTube when I was going to NAB, and he said to keep it and save it for the creative summit. So we'll be doing that. I'm hoping there's going to be a creative summit. That's a fantastic team, Richard, is what he meant to say. Absolutely, it is. It always is. We always go out together shooting bands. We went out last week, went up to McDaniel College in Westminster. They had a blues night, which we're big blues fans. And I filmed that whole concert, and not mostly 8K, because when you shoot in the dark, you use pure video. That's not 8K. That's only 4K. So sometimes it was too dark, and I shot that in 8K. I mean, some in 8K log. Other than that, I shot in 4K. Pure video, they call it, something like that. And let me see if I can pull one of those clips up for you. I don't have... Where in the heck is that? Here we go. Let me see if I have one of those. It's weird. Boop, 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 boop. I'm just looking real quick for... Well, next time I'll play a couple of shots from the last concert we did. We filmed. It was a blues night at Common Ground on the Hill at McDaniel College in Westminster. And it was not, it's always good. I filmed them a long time ago. My brother plays for Eric Gales. He's a bass player. My cousin is a drummer for him too. Well, since you mentioned that, let me just pull this up, one of my favorite clips. Hold on one second. I'm going to redo these clips, YouTube, channel content. I'm going to pull this up. This was a concert. This is a concert from a long time ago, but this gives you an idea of when I was in a band. let's pull this up. MacBook. This is a, let me put myself on screen. This is a show that we used to do in Baltimore called The Night of 100 Elvises. And all the bands came on stage and they played Elvis cover songs. So this is my band and me on stage singing lead from The Night of 100 Elvises from quite a while back.
All right. Anybody want to dance? Come on over here to this side of the stage. You got music coming through the monitors, so you can stop that. Hey, if any dancers who want to dance, come on up to this side of the stage and come on up and join us.
So that was one of my favorite performances that was filmed. And my live performance, I played for years and fronted bands. My guitar is the same guitar that I played. This one. That was my main guitar that you saw in the video. And yeah, I had a good time. And I still play, and I got to get my music videos out. But keeping a band together, dealing with club owners and stuff, what a hassle. What a hassle that is, especially doing original material, although that was a cover night specifically. Here's Jane, my B film girl. Do you find multicam more difficult shooting music than any other type of shooting since the audio sync is mission critical? No, I just prepare ahead of time. I do a separate audio track. And matter of fact, when I shoot bands now, I do multi-track. I do a mix, stereo mix, but I also shoot separate bass, drums, guitar, vocals on their own separate tracks so I can remix it after the fact. 3D tracking and keyframe curves to be used feature addition in next update. Possible? Absolutely possible. Sounds great. That performance makes me remember thinking about remixing Game of Thrones theme at 2x speed with the marching band. There you go. All right. So I wanted to, since you mentioned about the band, I haven't played. I got hours and hours of video of my bands when we played in the 90s, mostly. I do have one very old video when I was, I don't know how old, in my 20s, from the Marble Bar in Baltimore that I'm going to redo some of these videos, clean them up, upscale them into twice the resolution because a lot of them are standard def, and I'll put them on YouTube and stuff, and I'll let you know about them. Anyway, we've been on for 2 hours and 12 minutes. I'm going to get out of here, get on with my Saturday. Please, everybody, enjoy your weekend. If I don't see you before then, we'll be back next Saturday at 10 o'clock Eastern Time with my Lumix S5 Mark IIX as the webcam. Talk to everybody later. Maybe during the week, but probably next Saturday, 10 o'clock.